Hey everybody, we're officially live, and hopefully everything's all set up just the way it should be, because oh man, it was a pain getting back into my account with all of the different apps and third-party things that I use. Wow, it's a pain, but I'm glad to be back. It's Thursday, and yeah, I guess we've got another couple days in this week where we get to paint. I'm pretty much all set up for the day, and I've got some new paintbrushes to break into. Also, I think that my mic problem is fixed, but if I have some disconnect issues, please let me know. If I do, just use the !hey command so that I can look into it. It'll do a little chime, and then I can tell to look at the chat. So it's a very useful tool that I have to kind of help me, you know, stay alert. Alright, so I guess a little recap on what we worked on last time. Last session, we worked on the scale overlaps over here, up on this wing, and then we also kind of started working on this little inner webbing part of the wing too. I made it into like this little pattern here, if you can kind of see. It's kind of made up, but I thought that it would go really well with the diamondback belly. I thought it would be pretty good for that. We kind of finished up the details and stuff on these scales. I guess I didn't really get much further than that, but there's still a lot to do here, and I did already get my paints on my palette, so we're ready to draw. Yeah, so I'm just kind of thinking, what do I want to start with? I will say that this arm and the angle that it's at is actually kind of bugging me. So I might actually start working on that first thing. Also, fun thing, I don't know who all here is really big Pokemon fans or anything like that, but I'm working on a nice little Pokemon commission. It's got it's going to be a traditional painting, as per normal, what I like to work on. It's going to be traditional. This Pokemon commission is going to be acrylic, just like the stuff that I just work on typically. And also, what else? It's going to feature, how many Pokemon? I think 5. Let me look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think 5 Pokemon. And I've got the sketches done, which is fun. Just the sketches. I've got the sketches of the Pokemon themselves finished, and the lab setting that it'll be featured in, which will be a lot of fun as well. I'm kind of excited about this commission because A, it's Pokemon, and B, it's an ominous lab setting, like an ominous abandoned lab. Seems kind of fun to me. It's something that I am actually pretty excited to work on, believe it or not. I think I just want to change the angle of this. It's not necessarily that like there's much wrong with like the arm itself, but like I definitely want to change the angle, so we're just going to kind of go in and erase things a little bit right now, and we're just going to go in and kind of redo some stuff. Okay, so let's go ahead and gradient this out as well. I think I'm going to kind of like erase some of this over here. Anyways, because I just kind of wanted to get a little bit darker as we get further down, but yeah, so I think that's what I want to do with that. Alright, I'm excited to be painting today. I really am. It's a good feeling to paint. And while I was working on the sketches, I was disconnected from everything that was happening around me. Pure chaos in my home at times, and it's just nice to mentally escape, you know. So I pulled out the bag with my sheets of paper, and I don't do this too often because, like I said, I do kind of disconnect from reality. McQuacken Panda, hello! Welcome. Thanks so much for being here. Awesome, awesome. It's good to see ya. Spent a bit of time off Twitch. It feels like a long time because my days now are like back to back. It feels like I'm just not on here, ever. Pretty much. Yeah, so right now, I'm just gonna kind of redo this arm a little bit. It'll be good. I just want to like kind of re-angle it because it was bugging me. I will say that it has been bothering me for some time now. Yeah, pretty much what we're dealing with right now. But yeah, I think that making it gradient out is probably gonna be the best thing for this. And then we're just gonna have it. Yeah, we're gonna have it kind of gradient out there. It does feel like you take a huge break, right? It's a really long time. It feels like a really long time, but it's still the same amount of streaming, which is really weird. It feels like I'm never on here now. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I have been taking a long time because will say that I have been feeling a little bit under the weather, kind of sicky, icky, sicky. Not that sick, just a little bit sick. Which ain't good. It's never good, especially now with the whole, you know. But I'm vaccinated, so it's okay. I'm not so worried. But my daughter, she is not feeling so good. And, well, she wasn't feeling so good actually the past few days. So I've been tentative to her, but today she's actually starting to feel better, I think. She hasn't needed medicine. She hasn't wanted medicine, and she's been doing pretty good considering without the medicine. So, hooray! So she's got a really good immune system, much better than mine, I will say. Whenever I get sick as a dog. But it always seems to really roll off of her. She doesn't really get that sick. Seems to roll off of her like she's got this immune system to die for. I'm jealous. I'm jealous, and I wish I had an immune system like her. That's so funny how that works, right? Oh no, I hope you feel better. I hope you both aren't getting worse. I think we'll be getting okay. Well, I think we'll be okay. I think it'll be getting better. For me, I've been taking zinc, so I do really well on zinc. I just have the zinc supplement tabs in my home, in my house, because they work wonders. They work wonders, dude. Like I can't even describe to you just how awesome those things have been for my husband and I both. They have saved me a lot of sickness. They've saved me from a lot of just being sick and gross and feeling icky because they work great for the immune system. So when I notice something like kind of coming on, I notice my lymph node starts getting swollen up, and you know, like if I start noticing that I'm under the weather, I get that achy bones feeling or a fever or something, I just take those zinc tabs. So it's like 3 gigantic heavy pills, right, is a dose, and you take that once daily. But I only take it once I start like feeling kind of like under the weather. But when I do, it like kind of reverses things a little bit. It causes some of that swelling to go down, and I tend to feel quite a bit better. Looks like I gotta get my hands on zinc then. I totally recommend it. Yeah, I've got these tabs. I have to show you what they are, because they work wonders, dude. I have a terrible immune system, I'm just saying. Like, my immune system is shot. It's very bad. And yeah, I mean, like, I take care of myself and everything, but I will say that I just don't really do too well up against things like viruses or bacterial infections. I do pretty bad against too. Like, But my body fights things off way better as long as I've got some of that zinc in my system. I definitely recommend it. There's these tabs that they sell on Amazon, and you can get a 2-pack for a pretty decent price. I definitely don't recommend taking them every single day because I feel like it's a bit excessive when you have it that much, especially since I think your body doesn't really use it all. I think that it will pretty much just pass right through you if you don't need it. But if you are starting to feel kind of sick, your body will need it and it'll use it up really, really fast. It worked well for me and my husband, so that's definitely saying something. If he says something works, he won't, you know, he won't even. Bing Smoko, hey there, looking great. Hi. Oh, I forgot to tell you, I have 2 turtles now. Oh my gosh, you have 2 turtles? What kind of turtles are they? Bing Smoko, thanks so much for being here. I hope you're having an awesome night so far. Pretty much the end of the night. I mean, you know. I hope you're having a really good week as well. You guys know about that little Twitch hack that happened? A little bit of a Twitch leak. I definitely recommend changing passwords. I really, really recommend changing your password and using 2-factor authentication if you have not done so already. Ooh, hey, Nightfire! Yay! I looked over right as you did that. Yes. Nice. Yes. Okay. So I'm thinking, I actually think I want to kind of back this up a little bit so that we can get this better in frame. Okay. I just kind of want to like recenter this and everything too. It might take me a second, you guys. Sorry. I just want it so that it's not like... There's my Brewster. That's my boy Brewster. I just want to make sure that it gets in frame because I'm noticing that the thing on the side there, like my whole updates and stuff like that, it's kind of in the way, and it's bugging me. It's bugging me that it's like a little bit in the way. And I have to figure out how to position the tripod. See, the tripod is grinding up against the easel, like the foot of the easel, so it's like really hard to position everything like perfect. Oh my gosh, it's such a pain in my butt. Maybe if I like move the camera like that. No, now it's tilted. This is ridiculous, you guys. I'm so sorry. Hold on. We can do this. Don't worry, we've got this. It's very annoying, but we can do this. Let's check. Still looks kind of tilted to me. I don't like that. It's especially difficult because the view that I get in the camera is different from the view that I get in OBS, so I have to keep looking back and checking. Like, it's such a pain in my butt. Alright, let's see if we can get it to stay like that. It's still hanging over. See, this is just gonna drive me insane. I guess it's better just to paint and not worry about it. So, Brespero, hello. How are you guys doing tonight? Yes, I hope everything's going really quite well. And as you can probably see from the going live notification, I'm not leaving Twitch. I'm not. I don't know. I'm not gonna leave Twitch. I don't know if I don't know if really more stuff is going to happen or what's all gonna go down, but I just don't think that it's like necessary. Like, people are pretty upset about this, to the fact that, like, to the point that they're like, you know, there's all this talk about leaving the platform. I keep stepping on the tripod, my gosh. Tired but good. I take it you've already changed passwords and everything. Yes, I have. Everything's good on my end. I'm not too worried about it. I know that a lot of people are pretty upset. I know that you work. You worked today, so I imagine that you're probably pretty tired. Don't feel obligated to stay here. But I do love your company, brother. Thank you so much for stopping in. You and Big Smoke are always making a point to stop in and say hello and be part of the stream. It's really nice to have your guys' company. I will say that. I still don't want you compromising your sleep, just so you know. Just so you know. It's definitely not worth losing sleep over, that's what I say. And it's been a long week, but I'm doing alright. Just relaxing before bed in a minute. Nice. Nice. Just a little relaxation before hitting the bed. So, it's been a long week. A lot of stuff happening. I saw that you were looking for some extra hands, extra like legal help and stuff with starting up your business. I noticed that you're doing that. That is so cool. How's that going so far? Thanks, Moko. I hope that's going really well. Watching you doing all sorts of stuff with that is just gonna be so cool. Having your own private practice. I mean, how cool is that? How cool is that? Gosh darn cool. We look forward to the nights you're on. Thank you. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of research. It's grueling, but I'm getting there. Oh, I believe it. I believe it. There's a lot that goes into that stuff, man. And it's never ending. It's work, but my gosh, it's gotta be so rewarding. And it's going to be. It's going to be very rewarding. It's gonna be awesome. Super exciting. I can't wait to hear more about it, but my gosh. Yeah, that's gonna be a lot of work. But you got this. You have got this. It's gonna be awesome. Just gotta figure out this hand here. This hand banana. I've got an idea. Oh, you guys. I got this really cool resin mold for my shop. Okay, so this 3D thing is not something that I've created. This isn't my own design or anything, but I will give you a little bit of a preview on something that I will be making in resin for my shop. And it'll be fun. Hopefully it goes over really well. But here is the resin mold that I'll be using. It'll be for stuff like magnets and things. Yeah, just a really cool Chinese style dragon face, which is going to be super fun. It's something that I'm really looking forward to using. It's going to be awesome. I feel like it's like what I hear from new moms, like you gotta keep this thing alive and all it does is take from you. Oh, for sure. That's a really good analogy. I didn't think about that before, but I believe it. It'll be better in a few months though, once I'm not so dang new at everything. Oh yeah, you're going to just get better and better at it. You're going to learn so much. I think it definitely is going to stay hard, like it's going to, that's what she said. I think it's going to continue to be difficult for a long time, but I also think that with your experience, it's probably going to accelerate. You're going to accelerate and be so much better at everything, and be with your experience, it's just going to get easier to do the stuff it'll become basic for you, I think. The things that are really difficult for you now, and it'll just totally accelerate you. You will do so much better with your experience. Oh, gotta love those "that's what she said" jokes. My husband says I get 3 of those. You only get 3. I have a set number. It's the rule. Yeah. Alrighty. So, let's see. I gotta get back into the zone on this. I feel like I almost want to take like a picture of like my hand and like kind of compare like how it looks. Maybe I'll kind of like move these down. I have an idea actually. Okay, I have an idea. And we'll see how it goes over. I'm going to take notes using paint. This is going to sound crazy, but that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take notes using paint, and I'm going to bring these in, and I'm going to bring the lighter blue color. I'm going to bring it, I'm going to bring that out further. We're going to bring this out even further than that one. And then this one needs to come out a little bit more. That is kind of still kind of stuck there. I'm using paints that are too clear is my problem. Paints don't really have that much. Right, so let's see. That much opacity is the word I'm looking for. Alright, so let's do that. Let's bring that down further and bring this down a little bit further. Yep. Yeah, well, that's all very good news. I can't believe that Twitch's source code got leaked, dude. That's just nuts. I'm sure everyone's heard everything about it and probably kind of sick of hearing about it. But you know, it's just crazy. It's just craziness. There's the argument that, like, okay, so they're a really huge company, like, they don't really have any room to have, like, any kind of data breaches like that. It's like a, you know, really, really bad for the reputation. But then there's also the argument that, like, they are under so much scrutiny because they are so huge. They have so many employees, and there are so many eyes on them that then it becomes a matter of so many different attempts, so many different hackers, so many different people that potentially could access the internal information. And so it's like, okay, well, these things, they happen. And I've come to terms with that. They do. And it's not like they're not on it. It's not like they're not, you know, trying to get things fixed. But there are some people that are so upset about it that they're actually leaving the platform. And I know that there's a lot of controversy going on with Twitch, with their whole bot problem and their hate raids and stuff like that were happening before. And then they were also having some controversy regarding like what streamers do that like aren't even like when they're not even streaming on the platform, like almost like I think they're looking into streamers like outside of their, at least the big ones, the big streamers I think, outside of Twitch, like when they're streaming, almost like an employer that's kind of snooping around at their employees' social media, you know, to make sure that they're not getting in any trouble. It's pretty silly. I heard about that one too. I did. And that's also silly. Okay. I think that's a little bit better. I'm still really not sure. I kind of want to like really like add some darker colors in here to kind of get like a really nice contrast is what I'm looking for. So this is gonna have to have like a really dark color in here. And this dark color is basically going to be like it's gonna be like, we've got a few light sources here, right? We've got this light source, which is the glowing gem. We've got the moon. So this is going to be kind of a tricky painting. In fact, the light sources, it's not going to be perfect. My lighting, it's not perfect. I'm not a computer. I don't have ray tracing built into my brain, although I really wish I did. I definitely am going to try my best with the lighting. You know, I'm pretty much winging it. I'm always winging it. You know how it is. We're just going to kind of like, we're going to use like these darker tones. And we're going to kind of start blending, basically. We're going to start really blending. I definitely need darker tones in here. No doubt in my mind. I need dark tones. In between the fingies. The little fingies, the little dragon fingers. Okay. And then definitely need some down here. No doubt in my mind. I need some of that right there. Alright, okay, let me check this. I just wanted to see what's up. Oh my gosh, hey, it's Gaming Loves Robin. I can't stay long because I have to get up 5 a.m. for work. Well, thank you so much for stopping in. I totally assumed that you probably wouldn't be able to make it because I know your schedule is completely different now. But I appreciate you making it in, Gaming Loves Robin. You're amazing. And then Bing Smoko says, I'm gonna head to bed now. Thanks for letting us join ya online. You're doing great. Thank you so much, Bing Smoko. I appreciate you so very much. You're so sweet. Thank you for always making a point to stop in and everything, even when you and brother have had a long day. It means a lot to me that you guys always make a point to do that. It's awesome to have your company. It's seriously just the best. Painting alone is just, it's kind of a bummer, so it's really nice to have company. It's so awesome that you're here. But definitely get some rest. Don't compromise sleep for the painting. It's just not that important. I appreciate you so much, and I hope you have an amazing night. Bye, Big Smoko! McQuack and Panda Gaming, I'm sorry. I had to take my dogs out. I'm back now. Aw, McQuacken, you didn't even have to worry about that. I appreciate you so much. How are your puppers doing? Your pupperonis. Good to take the puppers out. And don't worry, I literally don't notice. So just a heads up, you guys. I can see like the view count, but the view count is very extremely loose and not accurate. And also, I cannot see, what I can't see is who is viewing. So like a lot of times Twitch streamers will be able to have that pulled up, or we'll see that and see who is on and who is not, who is connected and who isn't. I don't look at that. I have no idea who's here, when, and any of that. Unless you chat, I don't know. So I don't know if there's lurkers, I don't know anything. I just completely keep that hidden because I don't need to see. So anybody who's chatting wants to make themselves here. If you need to dip and take off and come back, I won't even know, really. So you're totally free to do that, you know? And it's not like I would judge anyways, but you know what I mean? Like there's no reason to worry about that stuff. I know how it is. It's all good. You are all golden. I just like company, but I don't like people to compromise their sleep. And yeah. Definitely do what you gotta do. Totally. Totes bagoats. Alright, so I'm gonna make this really dark too. We're gonna darken this up. I'm just going totally bold over all of these. We're just gonna darken this up, and then we're just gonna kind of do some serious blending. Like we're gonna do some kind of crazy blending. Yeah. It's really going to, I think, help. We're just gonna kind of like, essentially, look at the darkest darks over here. And then we're going to really try to blend all of that. Work around it and such. Get some dynamic lighting in here. My pepperoni that tilts his head, Coda says hi. Oh, so cute. Oh my gosh, that pepper is so cute. I didn't know his name was Coda. That's a really cute name too. That reminds me, I thought that, so like growing up, we were on a ranch a lot, just helping out and stuff, and working on things like feeding the horses and stuff when we helped out on the ranch. That's what we got to do, but I'm pretty sure there was a dog there that was named Coda. I think that was the first time I ever heard the name Coda. What a cute name. Just super cute. Just gotta take a moment to appreciate the name Coda. It's just a simple name, but it's adorable. Awesome. Oh my gosh, and that video of him tilting his head, that was just the cutest. I was just like, oh my gosh. That's my favorite expression from dogs. So like, if I'm going to like pick an expression that dogs make, the head tilt wins hands down. That's my favorite expression from dogs. They cannot have better expression than that. It's just super cute. The head tilt, it almost seems like a human taught them that, but I'm pretty sure they just do that on their own. I've seen pups do it, and they just do it. It's so cute. Yeah, he tilts his head off, and his polar opposite is Shira. Shira, is that another... Oh, is that a different puppers? My bot's so funny. I've been live for 34 minutes and 41 seconds, and runtime is typically 3 hours. I'll never forget that time where it was... I've been live for 33 minutes and 3 seconds, and runtime is typically 3 hours. Holy crap, that was like so many threes. When does that ever happen, really? Just craziness. Alright, so we're gonna try to get some nice violets in there. We're gonna get cobalt blue, and we're going to get some of this natural root red, I think. I want to say cobalt blue and natural root red. And we will mix up a very dark violet. So, this is our dark violet. Okay. And we're gonna really just get in there and start assaulting the canvas. Just really nice and fast. And with a bit of force. Because if you don't use a lot of force, how is it going to get into the fibers of the canvas? I'm also... Ooh, Coda is black GSD, and Shira is a white GSD. What's a GSD? What is a GSD? You know, I actually really don't know. I thought I'd be able to guess that, but I can't. I know some dog breeds, but I'm not an expert. German Shepherd! I didn't know that was the... I guess that makes sense. Okay, GSD, got it. German Shepherd. I like German Shepherds! I didn't know that they were German Shepherds. It's so cute. We had a German Shepherd growing up. His name was Woody, and he had an attitude. He was he was full of attitude every day, and he like talked back to you with his dog voice. he was a strange one. I think he was part German Shepherd, part wolf. He was a very strange combination of things. It was really interesting. I gotta bring this out a little bit further here. Let's make this darker and bring it out further. We're just going to attack the canvas until we get it right. It's gonna take me 12 years, but that's okay. I've got these new brushes. I'm super stoked about them. They're super cheap brushes. I got them for like, the pack is like $5 or something. It came with lunch. But you know what? They work, so it's all good. That's so cute. I little loved him. He was like a little bit of he was a sassy pants, dude. He was sassy. Yeah, he talked back and he strutted around like he was just the stuff. And he had a little bit of a wild streak to him, you know? Just a bit of a wild streak. He jumped on people. He was kind of crazy and he didn't want to be tamed. You know, come to think of it, his temperament is a lot like my my Indian ringneck parakeet, Brewster. His temperament is very similar to Brewster's, actually, now that I really think about it. Yeah, he was interesting. He really did. He talked back with his dog voice. It was very interesting. It was quite the spectacle. Yeah, I mean, I really wish I had videos of him. I used to when I had this old, like, so back in the day, like, I didn't have like a phone. It was like when flip phones were a thing. But I did have this little MP3 player slash like camera thing that my dad got for me when I think I was like 13 maybe? I had to have been like 13. I don't really remember. But my dad got it for me. And it was my first camera ever. And that thing was kind of crappy. It was actually like, I think it was 2 megapixels. I know, incredible, 2 megapixels. It did take video, but the SD card it's only like it could only save to an SD card, and my SD card was 2 gigs, which at the time was really awesome and good, but not anymore. Like that doesn't fly anymore. But back in the day, that was pretty cool. 2 gigs, 2 megapixels. So I did get videos of him on that thing, but then I also like accidentally sat on it and then the screen broke and then it stopped working, and then I don't think I could connect the device anymore to the computer and get the stuff off of it. Actually, it had an SD card, so I must have popped it out. I don't know what I did with the SD card now that I think about it. Maybe I was stupid and thought that I just junked the whole thing, or maybe I threw out all the pictures. I don't know. Now I'm kind of like questioning, what would I have done with that data? Did I back it up to anything? Was I smart? Did I do that? That would be the only way that I would have had any pictures or videos of Woody. He was a good boy. He had quite the temper though. And like I said, he's a lot like Brewster. Brewster, my Indian ringneck, he's so funny. My gosh, he's been making some decent progress in like, you know, being handled and held and stuff. He's kind of like, he's super shy. But, I mean, he's doing pretty good though when it comes to being held. He will step up if I kind of like, you know, make him for bed. If I kind of chase him down a little bit. He will only step up onto me if he is first standing on a specific perch. I love your burbs. Thank you. They are my baby boys. He will only step up if he's already standing on a specific perch. So like, if he isn't, he will kind of like make me chase him down a little bit until he gets to this like one perch in the cage, and he has to stand there, and then he will allow me to put my arm out in front of me, and then he will step up, but he'll do it cautiously. And he's super, super nervous about it, but the fact that he does it all is still quite progress for him. And also, he has been taking treats directly from my hands, which is the newest thing that he does. He never did that before. In fact, I have had him for like, I want to say I've had him for 3 years now. And like, it's probably the newest thing, like within the last week or so, he started actually taking treats from my hand, which is great. It's amazing. That's a big win for him. That's a big accomplishment for this bird. He's not used to doing any of that. He's extremely shy, and so that's kind of like a really big deal for him. It's a very big deal for him. Yeah. Boy, I'm super stoked. I'm super stoked. I'm working on this Pokemon commission. That's so awesome for you and Brewski. Yes, thank you. He's doing quite lovely. I'm very proud of my little Brewski. I'm proud of my boy. My boy. My baby bird. That's what he is. He's my baby bird. He and Pecco. Pecco's been so hungry for love and affection lately. I set up a chair in their cage so I can walk in there and have a seat. And for those of you guys that haven't already heard, they have a giant walk-in cage, so that's why I can have a seat in their cage. There he is! How are you? He's so funny. I love him. He's such a good boy. And he'll just say, how are you? And he'll be in a super good mood. And I'll just go, how are you? Over and over and over. And I'm just like, I'm doing great, Brewster. How are you? And we just go back and forth. This is like a daily occurrence that just, it's nonstop. We're always asking each other how we are. He's just a funny boy. I love that bird. He's good. He's a good boy. Alright, so let's get some darker colors in here, probably some cobalts. Mix some cobalt into there. Yeah. So we don't have oil paints, but we're going to try to blend things pretty similar to what oils would do. Just blending and blending and blending. I love blending paints. It's so satisfying to do. It's a very satisfying thing. Are the Brewski and Pecco audio clips actually them, by the way? Yes. Yeah, those little how are you and the little beeps. Yeah, those are their audio. So basically, I just took some video from them, and I took a video like of Brewster when he was talking, and he said, "How are you?" And then I removed the audio from the video. I isolated it, and then I cropped the clip, and then I made sure that like it didn't have any other background noise in it. And then I turned that into the little visual. So I made it into a thing that you can trip up and trigger with a third-party service called Trigger Fire with a Y. If you haven't used that or haven't heard of it, I definitely recommend it. I use the third-party Trigger Fire. They're fantastic. They give you free slots for different things that you can trigger with rewards. You can link it up to your rewards. You can link it up to, I think you can link it up with like other things. Like you can trip up other things with either OBS or Streamlabs OBS. I think you can use Streamlabs OBS. I'm pretty sure. But you have to use a WebSocket plugin for at least for the scene changes and stuff like that. But like the little Pecco and Brewster, they operate a little bit on a different like they have a different feature for it. So instead of showing like a specific scene or movie clip, they do something else. They show like this thing through like I think it's like just a browser source for those ones. But you can do like switch to scene for this many minutes, and you can do all sorts of stuff. It's so cool. They sound so cute. Thank you. I love my baby birds. They're such a good place. Yeah. I appreciate you. They're my baby birds. Yeah, Pecco's been itching for love and affection today. He's been so affectionate. And it's been really adorable. I sat down in their cage today and Pecco comes over and immediately he like plops his head into my hand and he melts into my hand. I'm like, boy, what are you doing? Like he was such a love and he was just melting into my hand. And like he was not letting me go. He flies over onto me and he tumbles down like on purpose. He just gets so excited to see me like a dog or something, like a little flying dog. He's just so happy. He gets so happy to see me. He flies into me like with full force. Like he knows what he's doing. He's just tackling me and then he rolls down. Like he gets all excited. I love him. So funny. And Rooster, of course, he keeps his distance, but he'll come around to see if I've got some cut up fruit or something. Boy, they've been getting a lot of treats lately because I've been eating a lot of like fruit and veggies and things like that. And what I like to do is for like anything that is kind of scraps or something for my boys, I love to get them the stuff that like I don't eat per se from the thing, but it's still nutritious and it still has something on it and it's still good for them to pick at. So like for instance, I eat a lot of pineapples, but the tops of the pineapples I cut off, of course. Nobody eats those things with the leaves and stuff, but then there's still some of the meat attached. So some of that actual like yellow part of the pineapple is still attached. And then I cut off the edges too, just on the outsides, in these nice slices. And the bottom as well, and the core as well. The core, I give them the core, and they go wild for that stuff. They love it when I give them pineapples. They get 2 outsides of pineapples per week. I just bought a bunch of dragon fruit, so I ate the inside of the dragon fruit and I leave them a bit of the pulp, but then they also get some of the outside. Sometimes I'll take the outside, it's almost like a bowl shape, and I'll freeze it. I'll freeze it for them and then it holds its shape, and then I'll fill it with water and put it in one of their like food or water bowl slots that's just open, but they have a whole bunch of other places where they get their food and water. And I fill it with water, and then they can drink water out of it and then chew it up when they're done. They love that. They love that. And then also, they also get, like, we eat a lot of asparagus here. But with asparagus, the ends of the stalks, the really fibrous parts, we don't really eat those because they are too fibrous. They don't exactly break down when you cook them. So we cut those off, and then I give them to the birds. They're extremely fibrous. The birds love to hold them and pick them apart, and then like just play with the fiber material. So I let them enjoy that as well. I give them all those stalks. They have a lot of stalks that they can go through because we eat so much asparagus. Let's see, what else do they get? I also give them just like fresh cut up fruits and veggies. So, they got strawberries today. Sometimes they get blueberries. These boys are super spoiled. They are my spoiled little boys. And let's see, what else? What else? Today, we had bell pepper. We had some bell pepper with our dinner, and cutting that, of course, you've got a stem, and attached to that stem, you've got you've got the seeds and things like that. And it's like, the seeds aren't inedible, but they're not exactly like something that you really are looking to cook up, right? But the boys, the birdie boys, they love them. So I give them to them. I also gave them a tomato top today. A lot of things. They got a lot of things. It's like kind of crazy. Yeah, they definitely don't have any shortage of food and treats. And not just that, but then they also have their regular bird food, like their pellets and their seeds and stuff. Now, of course, if we get like spinach, I like to share that with them as well. Don't always have spinach on deck, but lots of times we do. Lots of times we do. And when we do, I definitely give them their share of spinach. Yeah, they are quite lovely birds. And they are loved. So loved. I hope that turns out okay. There we go. I'm pretty stoked about this commission I'm going to be working on, but I gotta be completely honest. The fact that they're asking for like 5 Pokemon, that's kind of a lot in the commission. See, I gave them a price quote, and then, and then now I suddenly gotta do like 5 Pokemon and a whole lab scene. But that's okay. I'm actually really excited to do that. And there's another thing I'm gonna be working on that is Pokemon related. There is a contest coming up for people to illustrate for Pokemon. Like illustrating like a Pokemon card. I think you can enter 3 times, and I think that it runs between October, I could be wrong, but like I think October 14th through January something. I don't remember. They're accepting submissions in a very long time windows. I have time, but I'm definitely not going to procrastinate because I'll never get it done. But if I do work on those Pokemon commissions, does anybody want an extra stream day where you can see me work on Pokemon paintings? Because I think that for that in particular, and possibly my commission that I'll be working on, I might share that as well. Ooh, yes! Good! Well, that is awesome. That sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be fun. Yeah, so if I do like an extra stream day where I am specifically working on that, like Pokemon, I think that would be a lot of fun. Actually would enjoy that quite a lot. Yeah, it's gonna be good. I mean, I know that I, like, pretty much primarily do dragons and stuff, but I don't think having a little change is such a bad thing. I think it's gonna be really quite good, especially for Twitch. I think a lot of people are pretty much expecting gaming and kind of nerdy stuff, you know. And not just kind of dragon nerdy. I mean, like, you know, video games. Video games. And, you know what? I love Pokemon, so I am extremely happy to be doing this. Don't mind the fan art at all. I love fan art so much. Even though I recently had to kind of stop with all the fan art, doesn't mean I love it any less. I actually really love fan art. Wow. I really think I'm getting sick. So I feel like I've been kind of like making sure it doesn't really get to me over the past few days using that stuff, but I feel like it's really hitting me now. Like, I'm starting to actually kind of get sick. Oh, it's not good. It is not good. Here we go. Are you ready? Here I go. Yeah, this is exciting. I'm working on the hand, but I don't know if I'm quite, like, doing this right. I don't know. It's just coming out of my head. You know, I'm totally unprepared for this. I have to be completely honest. I'm not exactly prepared to be, you know, doing this dragon hand here. I didn't, like, get any reference photos or anything for this. This is coming out of my head, but I'm not really sure how well I'm exactly doing. In fact, I probably need to, I think that I know what to do, but we'll see. We'll see. I just have to kind of, I just kind of have to, like I'm gonna get some of these highlights in here. Yeah, I guess something similar to that. I don't exactly know what I'm doing, but we'll see. We'll see, I guess. Right? Not really sure if this is gonna go over well. It's your song! Yeah! There it is! Oh my gosh, me clacking! There's your song. Yes. How exciting. I thought it was never gonna play again while you were here. My gosh. It's been so long since it's actually played while you're here, I feel like. Feels that way anyway, right? I can't be the only one that thinks that. I don't know what I'm doing with this. I'm just hoping it works. It might be a little bit too much though. See, I think that I need to kind of break up some of in between some of these fingers, make it a little bit more narrow at the ends. And by doing that, I think I need to use some really dark colors. Like a nice violet. To get in here and break these fingers apart. Break the fingers apart? That sounds so brutal. That's not quite what I'm doing, you guys. I'm not breaking the dragon's fingers. But I think that I'm going to kind of separate some of these a little bit. with some darker colors and break them apart. It sounds brutal. No, we are not breaking the dragon's little thingies. Or are we? So let's see. I'm just gonna continue looking over at the thumbnail view because the thumbnail view tells me so much more than I can even really figure out on my own. I think if I just kind of darken this up quite a bit and kind of like get around this, just darken this up, darken it up, like that. Okay. And then of course, use my fingers to smear it all over the place. We're finger painting now, while painting fingers. So let's see. Go ahead and probably use a little bit of cyan. Get in there with some cyan and we'll try to blend with that. I don't know what I'm doing, but let's just figure this out, okay? It's important that we get this figured out. Dude, I'm getting sick. I'm totally getting sick. That's not good. I'm not happy about that. Like that. What do they call it? Post-nasal drip. I'm sure you guys are really enjoying the thoughts of that. So, something interesting. My husband will be joining and a voice of the stream tomorrow. Tomorrow's stream. Tomorrow night, my husband will be, he's gonna go play softball with his coworkers first, and then he will come home and he's gonna be a part of the stream. Like, you'll be able to hear his voice, Keto Squared's voice for the first time. So that's pretty exciting. I kind of begged him to get on the show because he's my husband and, well, you know, it's just nice. That's all. It's just nice. And I thought maybe he would want to be a part of it. I don't know. Maybe. Seems like it. I'm not really sure. It just seems like it. So, what is everyone's thoughts on Sora being in Smash? The Sora reveal. I'm sure everyone's real tired about hearing that. Or maybe super stoked. I mean, I love to hear it. Love to hear it. Maybe everyone is still stoked. I'm seeing people post about it a lot, so it's like, you know, for some people it's a really huge deal still thinking about it, still talking about it, so just thought I'd kind of ask. As for me, my take on Sora's addition to Smash Ultimate. So this is kind of sad. Basically, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer. I'm not a downer. And I don't think that Sora is I definitely don't think that Sora's a bad addition. But something that I do have to say is I haven't played Smash Ultimate in quite a while, not since Pass 1 was complete. So I purchased the first Fighter Pass, Fighter Pass 1. And I was extremely ecstatic about the characters that were revealed in Fighter Pass 1. However, 2 didn't have me coming back. In fact, I kind of stopped playing. And the second Fighter Pass, man, I was a little bit disappointed, I gotta be completely honest. But, you know, it's just because, it's for pretty selfish reasons. It's just because I'm not really particularly a fan of the characters that were revealed. I did want an arms wrap. That was the only one I was excited about. Arms. Super exciting. Min Min is cool. Definitely not my first pick. I think my first pick would have been Helix. Helix is my boy. But you know, Min Min's cool. Sure. Not enough for me to buy the fighter pass. And not really enough for me to drop on the DLC. Drop the monies on just her DLC. And then the others I just wasn't super ecstatic about. As for Sora, I'm extremely surprised that they were able to pull that off. That they were able to get the rights to use Sora. Because Disney, but I'm not really sure how much they had, like how much influence they had in that decision anyway. And the reason I say that is because they're only like giving them Sora and not like Donald and Goofy aren't like in like the artwork or anything, which is kind of weird. So I don't know. Like, it's just kind of silly, a little bit. But I don't know, you know, like maybe, you know, maybe they did get, maybe Disney did have influence and maybe they just had to pay like way too much to use the reps, or maybe they just can't. I don't know. I really don't. Someone with more knowledge in that department would have to pretty much tell me, but would have to pretty much, you know, like enlighten me to the info, because I don't know that stuff. I really don't. Asking too much of me. No, I'm just kidding. Nobody's asking anything of me. I'm just being dramatic. But yeah. It's kind of a lot. I'm gonna kind of like lighten that up there and then lighten this up here. I hope I'm doing okay at this. I don't quite know what I'm doing. I gotta be completely honest with you. All of this, I'm just winging it. Like, I'm really not 100% on. I'm just super experimental with the dragon hand and everything. Let's see. I don't want to be getting sick. This is gonna drive me nuts. It's gonna drive me nuts. Completely batty. Yo. Here we go. This is, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this, really. I'm just gonna kind of have the brush just like dabbed along this, just dancing across the canvas like that. Just hope for the best. I don't know what I'm doing. But we're learning. We are learning as we go. So if I like put these little light dots, like these, just kind of like that here, I wonder if that's really helpful. I wonder if that's gonna help. Especially if I just kind of like drag that along there and then make it kind of like, such long fingies. I don't know how I feel about all this. How do I feel about it? I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. But I do think that maybe I should like bring these down a bit. Now, of course, like the clouds and stuff, I will need to touch up on that stuff. The surrounding area with the clouds. Okay. Let's have a look. like a dragon hand, I guess. Maybe. I'll probably need to start adding some scales to her fingies so that she can look a little bit more dragony. That sounds like it would probably make things look a little bit nicer, right? So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make like this nice light green color. We're gonna go ahead and start painting through some scales. Actually, I think I'm probably going to use a different brush for that because another brush would be really good for some different scales. Let's go ahead and actually let's start adding some violet in here first. I think I kind of need to darken some of this up like this before we can even get started on any of that. Okay. And then for this thingy, we're gonna start kind of like blending in some blue over here. Cyan. I have some cyan and it's like really, really translucent. It's a really translucent paint. Nice and easy. Okay, there we go. Very nice. Well, I hope I don't get more sick tomorrow. That would be a bummer. Dude, that would be a bummer. Right? Let's see here. I think that if I use like a nice green right here as well. I don't quite know what I'm doing, but you know what? Let's just hope. Once again, let's just hope for the best. I don't know. I don't know what this is, you guys. I don't know what I'm doing. But I'm just gonna hope that this actually turns out okay. Despite what my gut is telling me that it's gonna look weird. Let's just hope. I think I'm gonna use some white to kind of get like an outline on this. Yeah, this brush is too thick for this. It's actually not a good brush for this. Okay. Let's kind of make that faded with my fingy. That looks a little better, I think. I think that's working, maybe, perhaps. I can't tell. I have a bit of an idea, though. I'm kind of hoping that this does something. We need some cyan. Oh yeah, I really think I'm getting sick, actually, you guys. That's no good. I think I gotta actually go, like, below my nose and stuff. Like, all that fun stuff. All that icky, sicky fun stuff. So how about I take, like, a nice little break? I mean, I know it's only, like, 11, but I gotta take care of myself real quick, you guys. I think I'm going to go ahead and run this little time lapse here for the break skis, and then I shall return very shortly, okay? I'll be back, you guys. we're back. It's Space Daddy Gangster. Thank you so much for your tier 1 subscription. Thank you so much for subscribing 3 months. That is so awesome. Holy crap. Let's start some music again. There we go. Okay, I am back. Refreshed with some waters in my hand so I can hydrate, and I'm achy sicky, so I did have to take a little break. No, thank you. No. Thank you, Space Daddy Games. You are wonderful and super supportive, and it means a lot to me. Like, seriously, dude. It's so awesome. So apparently somebody Coil Twitchbot sent bits. I don't know how that happened while I was offline, I believe. Pretty interesting how that happens. I don't know if it was a bot. It says bot in the name, so Coil Twitchbot. I don't know how that happened. But I don't think I acknowledged that before, because I don't think I was even online, and I don't even know how. Is it possible to send bits when streamers not even online? That's crazy. Weird. Okay. So, thank you so much for your kind support. It means quite a lot to me. That's super weird. I know. I don't understand how that happened. But oh well, I guess I'm looking to misplace my paintbrush, you guys. How does that even happen? Please tell me. How did I misplace my paintbrush? Yeah, oh well. I guess it's over here. Okay, this actually is probably my paintbrush. I totally mistook it for a paintbrush that I didn't use. I have so many paintbrushes, you guys, it's ridiculous. So, you can sub and send bits and donos when someone is offline, but it's weird that it had bot in the name. Yeah, it is weird. Coil Twitchbot is what it is. And they sent 100 bits. I'm not sure how or why. But it's interesting. It's Coil Twitchbot, and there are underscores in between each word. So Coil underscore Twitch underscore bot. So that's interesting. I don't know if it's kind of bait to go click on the channel. Like with the weird IP tracking or whatever, some fear-mongering stuff. I don't know. I don't know anymore. Twitch has gotten to be a pretty interesting platform. I'll send you a DM on my alt Facebook account. Ooh, found it. You did? You did? Alright, let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and check. Oh my gosh, Jasmine sent photos too. It looks like I got a notification for that as well. That was quite some time ago. She sent me her pups. You guys know how I like to show the puppers and the pets on stream. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys. Oh hey! I'm gonna try to not, like, dox you there. Holy crap. That wasn't good. Look at these puppers! Oh hey, my camera actually stopped working, so that's good. Let's go ahead and try and fix that then. Dude, technology, man. Why? Why with technology, you guys? Okay, let's try and get this set up again. Oh, craziness. The camera. Of course the camera would stop. But that's okay, we're just gonna get reset up. You gotta love it. You gotta love the technology. And all the misfortune it brings. Oh, but it's so nice to be able to do all the things, the amazing things that we can do with technology. Alright, so let's fire up the camera again. Okay. That's fired up. And then let's go ahead and try and reconnect this. Let's make this stop. Okay. Close the app. Restart the app. I'm so sorry, you guys, to subject you to this. It's ridiculous. These technical difficulties, aren't they kind of nuts? Okay, we're gonna go ahead and, as quick as possible, get this done, because this is just ridiculous. Alright, you can connect. Come on, connect to the GoPro. Alright, let's see. Oh, let's pull up what you sent here. Coil. Monetize content. Twitch for streamers. Coil docs. If you're a streamer with a Twitch partner or affiliate account, your streams are automatically monetized. There's no additional setup required. What? What is this? This is weird. You don't need a Coil account or payment pointer. We have special integration with Twitch that allows us to pay you in Twitch bits. Your views? For you to receive payments, your viewer must be a Coil member. Use the Coil extension. How it works. Payments aren't delivered in real time. It could take 24 hours or more for you to receive a payment. For each second a Coil member watches your stream, we keep track of how much you've earned in USD. Then purchase Twitch bits when your balance is high enough. This is confusing. The Coil Twitch bot performs periodic checks of your balance about every 24 hours. When your balance is high enough, the Twitch bits are deposited in your partner/affiliate account by the Coil Twitch bot. My account? Why? Why my account? The Coil Twitch bot posts to your chat when it makes a deposit. Huh? If you know Coil members are watching your stream but haven't received Twitch bits, it could be that the bot hasn't checked your accrued balance yet. Your accrued balance isn't high enough for the bot to deposit bits. Possible reasons are your earnings haven't met Twitch's minimum. So, am I understanding this correctly? Viewers have a Coil account, and the people that they watch support the... I'm actually really confused on what this is. Twitch, Coil dots. This is so interesting. I have so many questions about this. Now hold on, let's try and get live with our... I'm getting off track here. Alright, RTMP. Okay, let's see if I can get this to connect. Now, will it connect? Will it connect? That is the question. Now let's see. Okay, so Twitch Coil seems to be a moderation tool which Twitch uses. It seems that it will automatically give random streamers bits, so good for you. Oh, that's so interesting. I've never heard of that. I didn't know that that was all good. I was kind of worried that it was some rampant thing. So Twitch official randomly gives those out. That's pretty neat. That is pretty neat. I will say that. Looks like we're live again. Let's check. All right. My hand is in the view, so that means that it is working again. Let's go ahead and pull up my chats, because that's pretty important to be connected to this. Alright, looks like I'm connected. It looks as though I'm connected. Okay, so that's interesting. I would never have guessed any of that. I was guessing that it was some random bot trying to get me to look at their account. I was like, what is this? What? So, wow. Pretty cool. I'll have to look into more of that later, I guess. I've never seen that before. Twitch official? Like officially? That's so weird. It's actually kind of interesting for sure. I like the idea behind it. Yeah, me too. Me too. That's pretty cool. It makes me feel a little special, I will say that. I feel a little bit special. Got the little bits from the bot. But I really was just like, what is this? Is this gonna be another problem? I was like a little worried and concerned and stuff. Yeah, it's come to that, I guess, but genuinely think the worst of the everything that has happened to Twitch thus far is probably over. The worst is probably over, I think. I actually believe that the worst of it is over. Okay. We're using a smaller brush right now. A smaller brush. We're gonna go ahead and make these nice little shiny sprouts on the hands. So we're continuing to work on the hands a little bit, but I think I want to add some. Scales. After everything with Twitch, I don't blame you. Yeah, it's been kind of a rough, wild rodeo ride. I don't know. This past week has been a social media / streaming nightmare. Yes, it has been, and you know what? Come to think of it, I think it's gonna get worse. And I say that because holidays are coming, and you know what? Money is everywhere, and people are still angry and pent up in their houses, and lots of people are still working from home. And you know, it's kind of crazy. Everyone is completely mad, dude. Like, there's been all sorts of violence and stuff, like in our area, in our neighborhood, in my state. There's just been a lot of really horrible things happening lately, and it's kind of freaky. Like, it's extremely scary. Because people are just insane right now, and I think that that's just going to continue. And I feel like there are probably going to be a lot of attacks. Just a guess. Just guessing, really. So I'm going to do like some nice little scales that kind of move along her fingers. And then we're going to just gonna kind of lighten those up a little bit. Just a bit. Yeah. It's been pretty crazy, especially with like the Facebook thing. It's just crazy. OMG, I has a story. Oh, the Pikachu is so cute. Oh my god. I went to an auction today and got so much cool stuff. I spent like $200 and easily got probably $5,000 worth of stuff. It was a really good day. Wow. Dude, that's so awesome to hear. What did you get? Tell me the scoop. Tell me the scooperoni. I'm super excited about it. Super stoked. Oh my gosh. I'm so stoked. Oh my gosh. That sounds fun. An auction, dude. I've never been to an auction, but I've kind of always wanted to, like, have my things in an auction, if you know, like I want to see people bid stuff that I list. I don't know how that's done, but that sounds great. I got a Super Nintendo still in the box. What, in the box? And a lot of games for it still in the box. For a Game Boy Color still in the box. 2 G.I. Joes original still in the packaging, and a bunch of Game Boy games and other stuff. Dude, that kind of stuff is so hard to come by. Like, actually in the box. Okay, so the only time I've ever really seen, like, in the past, like, since my childhood, really, the only times I've ever really seen, like that kind of stuff in the box, like, sold, I remember, so in downtown Glendale, they host this thing every year. It's a festival that goes on for a couple months called Glendale Glitters. And it's something that, like a whole bunch of antique shops are running, and there's just a whole bunch of cool stuff going on during Glendale Glitters, during the event. And it is really, really neat. But in particular, there are these like antique shops and all these little brick and mortar stores that are leased out for the season by these people who want to sell stuff, like little antique stores and things. And they're like all kinds of stuff. I found some really nice, some really neat game store. Like I found this game store that actually had like all these old magazines and things. It was so cool, dude. Magazines, and I found a Super Nintendo in the box. I don't know how legit it was. I didn't open it up. I saw a Nintendo 64 in the box. I found some other things. I think that they had the Power Glove too. Like actual, like legit, but that thing that Nintendo used to have, that gimmick. I think they had like a Power Glove. I don't know if that was like actually there or if it was just a box, like I said. Like I never asked, and I just walked around and stuff and browsed, but it was super expensive. All that stuff was mad expensive. Holy crap. That sounds awesome. Doing auctions is my actual full-time job. Wow. My friends think it's like a storage wars, like it's storage wars, but it's not. It's just me outbidding old people most of the time. Oh, that's so funny. It's so fun. Wow. That sounds fun. That really does. I feel like I would enjoy that. So, also, like when I was working at Starbucks, there was this couple, and their daughter. Oh my gosh, this family, they were such a sweet family and I adored them. They like did all sorts of really cool stuff on the weekends, and they loved to share what they did. And I remember some of the times, like on Sundays, they would come and they would talk about going to the auction house, and they told me which one that they liked to go to, and it was so cool. I was like, I liked to hear about it whenever I could, but I've never been, and I've never really had the guts to go by myself, and I don't have anyone to go with. It's just like, you know, it just sounds really cool. I don't know, I thought it was something that I kind of want to do at some point. It'd be nice to go. Maybe I can rope my husband in one of these days. But you know what? I did rope him in next live stream. He's gonna be a voice on the channel. We're gonna hear him. We're gonna hear him talk. It's gonna be great. Looking forward to it. Dude, I'm totally getting sick. No doubt. Oh man. My nose is itchy. Oh my gosh. My daughter is just getting over her sickness, and looks like I'm starting. Looks like it's my turn now. Oh my gosh. I don't want to be sick, dude. I don't want that. Don't want to be sick. I want to be part of that. Oh man. Alright, let's see how much of this I can do. I feel like I need to add some water. Okay. Sick, yes. Yeah, she was sick, and so of course I was around her, and well, I don't know how she got sick. We're like in all the time. It's crazy. I'm not too terribly worried. I mean, I'm vaccinated, so it's not, I mean, it could be. I'm not gonna like, you know, I'm not gonna say one thing and, you know, make bold assumptions, but I'm pretty sure it's not the dreaded big C. Pretty sure it's not that. So I'm fully vaxxed there. Hopefully it's not that. But I'm pretty sure it's just a cold. She had something and she's actually pretty much already over it, so I imagine it's not gonna be anything crazy. It took her like literally like 2 days to get better. Probably just seasonal stuff. Yeah, it feels like a cold. It just feels like, and for her too, like it was, the way that she was behaving was like, and the way she was affected, it just seemed like a cold, like a plain, old, real simple, little bit of congestion, maybe a bit of a sore throat, sort of cold. And like I said, it only lasted like 2 days for her, so, you know, that says something about the severity of what it could possibly be. Not severe, so I'm not worried. All good. All good. The weather this year has been all over the place, so it's probably just a bug. Yeah, I'm thinking so too. I'm not super worried. Pretty glad. Pretty glad it seems to be so mild. I had mentioned this before, but I did take some zinc. Zinc really, really helps me. I don't know if like you ever take any zinc, but I totally recommend it if you don't. I think that it's super, super good. It tends to make my colds and flus so much like less severe. I get like really bad colds and flus, so like it's totally necessary for me to like do that, but yeah. Yeah. I think I kind of need to add some like really darker tones in here. I think if I like, we gotta like kind of outline these little scales here that we got. Got these little scales going on. I'm getting pretty into it. I'm like super enjoying this. Alright, here we go. I don't really know quite what I'm doing. I don't have a hand reference. I mean, obviously I have a hand. I could probably just look at it, kinda, but this doesn't quite seem to be the way that I want it to be. I'm not really sure how to describe it, but I feel like there's just something that's not quite right. So maybe I should get like a nice little reference photo of a hand or something holding something, and then possibly try to rework those scales because I'm not sure that I like them like that. Maybe I do. I take vitamin and allergy pills every day because around here the weather changes so much. Oh yeah, that's understandable. Oh, completely. You're a California guy, right? I mean, I don't want to like, you know, share too much information. I could be wrong though, like I can't remember, but I could have sworn some kind of conversation relating to that. East Coast! Oh! Oh. I see. My husband's from the East Coast. He's from Pennsylvania. New York. Whoa. I see, I see. I completely get that. Okay. You know, I've never been there, but I have heard a lot about the East Coast. I've heard plenty about the East Coast. Enough to make me glad I don't live over there. That's pretty much it. That's all I gotta say. Just glad. There we go. Okay, we gotta figure out these little fingies. These little fingies over here. I don't know if I want them all to quite look like that. It almost looks like this is too rounded, and it kind of needs to be a little bit more flat. So maybe there's something that I could do about this. Let's go ahead and... I don't know how well that worked, but I feel like it's worse. Yeah, it kind of is. Oh well. I'll figure it out. Okay. It's cold, very cold. We have like 3 months of warm weather, and then the rest of the year is roll of the dice. Over here, where I live, in Arizona, it's Satan's butt crack over here. It's hot. And but this year we actually had a really, really great year because we had a real monsoon season, and let me tell you, we haven't had a real monsoon season in at least a decade, maybe two. Like, I'm saying it's been a very long time since we've had, like, weather. And we have had weather this year, trust me. We keep getting all this rain. It's like, where is this rain coming from? It's kind of crazy. We, like, almost never get any rain. And so, it's just been nuts, dude. Like, and, like, we have bugs everywhere now, and I love it. I love that. But people are putting up these, like, these little bug zappers in their yard. It makes me so mad, because, I like the bugs, and it's a blessing. Because we're actually getting weather for once, and it's just kind of mean that they have those bug zappers, but I digress. Anyways, we're actually getting weather, and it's like, it's completely crazy. We don't get weather. Like, we're not used to it around here. But we love it. We love it here. We love the weather here, is what I mean to say. We don't love it here. We don't love Satan's butt crack, but we do love the weather this year, because it's been completely out of the norm for us to get precipitation and stuff. Like, that's kind of crazy. That just doesn't happen. Yeah, this year's been so wild with the weather. Where I am, it'll be 6 inches of snow one day, and then the next day it's like 65 degrees. Dude, that's nuts. What? Man, global warming already. That's where we're at, pretty much. I mean, all this, like, climate change and stuff like this year has been way different. We've been breaking records literally every year with something, and it's just, it's crazy. It's kind of scary, you know? It's actually, like, legitimately scary. It is legitimately terrifying. Just gonna kind of make some little outlines for some nice little scales over here. There we go. Very cool, very cool. Alright. It is spooky, one would say. Oh, spooky. Spooky season. Who's excited for the spooky season? You know what? I'm really excited because, like, the neighbors are decorating their houses, and we, like, never decorate our house over here. But we will eventually, once I'm making enough money to really do that. I think my husband doesn't really want to do that, so I'll be the one, you know, I'll be the one doing all the decorations. I normally am, but lately I haven't really since having my daughter, because she had been really young and stuff, but now she's getting older, and I think she would really enjoy it. And, yeah, I think it'll be really fun to start doing that again. She was super young, so it's like, if I would decorate something, it's like, she'd want it, it would get torn down. Like, I think now I'll probably start decorating again. Once I get my funds back up, I'm a little bit short on the funds. Slightly short on the funds. That's okay though. My shop's back open, which is great. My selection is limited, which is not great. But I do have some stuff that I will be adding. And I have been working on some really fun things. I have fun things to show you. And you will see them when I add them, and it's going to be great. Okay. So we're adding these scales now. Let's see how they do. Hopefully well. Oh. Yeah. Still still working on it. Can't wait. Ooh, fun things. Yes. Fun things to add to my shop. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. More dragons. More fun things. Yeah, I'm working on some stuff and it's gonna be good. It's gonna be a good time. I definitely would say so. So now I'm just kind of drawing in some scales over here. I'm just gonna kind of like, you know, I'm visualizing like what a bird's feet looks like. By the way, birds' feet are scaly, so like, if you're ever wondering like, why I'm talking about birds' feet, like, they're like the prime example of like dinosaur feet, you know? They're like exactly, they're a good reference if you're going to be like drawing some like scaly feet, you know? Just saying, you know, not to sound like a weirdo. I'm just gonna sound like a weirdo anyway. Kind of do that, even that out a little bit. There it is. Very cool. Yeah, it's super exciting. So yeah, I've got that poster. I did show that last time. I just haven't added it yet. I haven't added it because I haven't been on my computer until tonight. Just, you know, setting up the stream. So I'm a little bit behind on things. In fact, I have a few things that I need to work on that are handmade for my shop that will feature my artwork. And also, I did show the camera this earlier, but I'm gonna do it again. This isn't my artwork. This is actually just a resin mold here that I'm about to show you. But it is something that I do want to add to my shop because it's a dragon. Check this out. So this is gonna be like a resin mold specifically for like a dragon head, like an oriental type of dragon. Very, very fun. And then I've also got some things that I want to work on as far as prints go. Let's see. I have wood slice prints that I'm currently working on, large and small. Ornaments as well, nice sparkly little ornaments. And then also, I don't have the boxes to ship these in yet, but when I do, I'll be able to list them. But I do have the framed posters of Twilight Dragon. This is very, very large, so I can't fit it all in frame. I do apologize for that. But it's the exact same size as the actual painting itself. Pretty much identical in every way. I got a nice high resolution scan of it so you can actually see like the canvas texture and everything. Like the texture of the canvas it's printed on there, you can actually see it. And yeah, it's super high resolution. And that also has a protective film on it. You probably have seen. It comes with the protective film so that you can peel that off so it's nice and shiny underneath. It's very protective. It's good because then you're not going to scuff it and you're not going to leave your prints all over it and stuff like that. You just peel it right off and it's nice and shiny. So perfect. Nice and good. Wonderful. Truly. Real excited about it. I gotta be completely honest. I worked really hard on that painting. I'm a little sentimental about it because it is the first one that I completed on live stream. And it's the first one that really got me into this whole live streaming thing. So I will say that I am very sentimental about it. It's also the first time-lapse I've ever made. So that was a huge deal to me. And also, I did that when my computer wasn't even like good to anyone's standards. So like, I spent so much time on that time lapse. Like I made sure that it was exactly how I wanted it to be. And yeah, I spent a lot of time on that time lapse, seriously. It was... My computer was not... Like, it was constantly crashing. It was not up to par. It was not good for making videos, but I still did it. I was very determined to do so, and it all worked out. Yeah, very good. Alrighty. I'm gonna start using some darker colors here too. I'm gonna probably use like a nice okay, this is kind of fun. I don't really know what to do with this, but it's gonna be great. Oh boy, we're adding in all of the scale textures and just kind of guessing where the scales go, I guess. it's kind of wild. I don't quite know what I'm doing, but winging it all the way. The whole way. Just winging it. Here we go. We are. Alrighty. So then, I think if I add like one little scale here, I just have to pick up some more paint on my brush. Wacky, alright. This is like... I don't know what I'm doing, but you know what? I feel like it's working out. So I'm using like the darker colors first. I think I really have to get in there with the lighter colors again. But none to worry. We'll do that. And a bit. But first, start working on this. Okay, there we are. Interesting. Alright, so now let's go ahead and start kind of like fleshing out these little scales here. I think I'm going to use... Well, first I actually have to mix up some new paint. Or actually, let's kind of work on these too. Let's start working on the arm as well. That actually would be a good idea. Let's get some violets together. Let's mix up some violet and black. Get some Nastal Rude Red and Cobalt Blue. Mix up a really nice, deep, deep violet. Very, very dark. Very dark. Almost black. Just kind of have those little scales reach over into the inner part of the arm. Very nice. Very nice. cool. Okay, and then start using like a nice dark blue. We're gonna kind of start like, and I mean blue. There we go. Okay, perfect. That's much better. Go. Super. Got a nice little scale pattern there. Ooh, this song is so groovy. I love Kirby and the Crystal Shards. Oh my gosh. This track. So groovy. Totally slaps. Man. N64. Nothing can really touch it. So awesome in its own way. Feel like wait a minute, is this track actually from Kirby's Dream Land 3? Is this Kind's theme song? No. I don't remember. I'm actually starting to think that this is Crystal Shard, or not Crystal Shards. This one I think is actually Dreamland 3. It's gotta be. I remember this track from Dreamland 3. Dude, I love this track though. It totally slaps. I don't know. I don't know, it's so good. I distinctly remember abandoning Kind in this particular song. There's a puzzle where you're riding around Kind and you are supposed to abandon him and then go through a very small space where only Kirby can go by himself. And then you have to clear something and get some blocks out of the way in this loop around, and then open it up so that you can pass through with Kind. I'm pretty sure that is a Kirby's Dream Land 3 game because I'm pretty sure you ride Kind around. I distinctly remember Kind being a part of that puzzle. Totally. And this, of course, is Phoenix Wright. Everybody knows that. It would have been so cool to have him as the last Smash DLC. We don't know how it would work, but we never expected Piranha Plant, did we? And it's not like they can't pull that kind of stuff off. That's for dang sure. They know what they're doing. Yeah, here we go. This, we're gonna probably start to kind of add some of that in here. There we go. Very cool. Right. I do think that I need to kind of darken this up a bit. There we go. Not sure, but I think this is kind of working out a little bit. It's hard to say. It's hard to say at this point. Maybe it's too early. Yeah. Let's darken this up quite a bit, you guys. I'm so sorry for being so quiet. Suppose I could talk about something, right? What could I possibly talk about? Huh. Yeah, I'm working on that Pokemon commission. I just realized I got these sketches here. Anybody on my personal Facebook or my Backwoods Facebook knows about this already, but it's super exciting for anybody that isn't a part of that. I do have some things to show you because I will be working on a commission fairly soonish. So far, for the people who like Pokemon, I've got a Pokemon commission that I'll be working on soon. I don't know if I'm going to be doing any of it on stream, but it will be a traditional painting. It just depends on what kind of permissions I can get from the commissioner, if they want me to work on it on stream or not, but I will show you guys the sketches. So this here is the sketch for Shiny Raikou. We are going to feature a Shiny Raikou in the painting, kind of like this, the center or yeah, just a focal point, I suppose. So that's exciting. A Mega Blaziken. The Mega Blaziken will also be shiny, so that'll be fun. Here's our Mega Blaziken. This one's a nice. This was like the first sketch of these, I think. It's a little bit sloppy. I'm not particularly good at drawing Mega Blaziken, but you know, at least I did the sketch, so I guess I got a little bit better at it, I think. Okay, and then we also have Samurott in a fighting stance. A fighting stance Samurott, so it's got its leg swords out, ready to brawl and ready to fight somebody, ready to kick some booty. And then, of course, we've got Pikachu. And this little Pikachu here, he's ready to fight. He's got kind of a wicked smile on. He's wearing his little goggles. Super, super cute. I love the whole goggles look on Pikachu. So yeah, here he is wearing his goggles with his wicked smile. He's ready to brawl, ready to fight. So, and then we've got Garchomp. So Garchomp is kind of, he's a Garchomp. I don't know, he's not doing anything special. And then we've got Decidueye. So he will be featured in it as well. And I was super excited because I actually really like Decidueye. So I was like super excited to, I was real excited to draw him. Because I've never drawn him before, so, and it'll be fun because I'll get to paint him too. And that's it for him, so we're back at the Raikou. But yes, super exciting. Those are the sketches. We've got like pretty much just the sketches done. We've also got I've got the setting sketch done, but I'm not ready to share that yet. But I will tell you what it is. The setting sketch is it's a lab. It's like an abandoned lab setting, sort of like a, you know, like it's got the vials, it's got like some cloning machine that's defunct and broken. It looks interesting. I've never drawn or painted a lab setting before, so it is all new to me. It's a whole learning experience for me. I don't know how it's gonna turn out, but I'm gonna do my darnest. I'm gonna try my best, like I always do, because it matters to me. Yes, it does. It matters to me. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be good. And like I said, I'm gonna do my best. So hopefully the commissioner really likes it. Yeah, so far, my commissioner, he really liked the sketches, so that was a good thing. That was good news. I was a little slightly worried that he wasn't going to think it was super dandy, but he liked it. So that means we can move on to the next phase, which is the painting part. So I get to work on the underpainting, which is going to be great. I needed a little bit of a mental break from what I'm working on. Just looking at the sketches actually kind of helped me refresh my mind a little bit, so that was good. I'm glad that we did that. Glad that we pulled those sketches out and looked at them, because I needed a mental break. Yeah, very exciting. It's gonna be good. A lot of fun, also. Oh, wow. Oops. There we go. Okay. That's looking a little better. Here we go. And then let's go ahead and darken this up over here too. I think I kind of want to use a little bit of cobalt blue and kind of leave that in. Cobalt blue into cyan, perhaps. I'm not sure how I feel about all these lines here. In fact, I think I kind of want to break some of those up. Or maybe let's do a little bit of a color match. Hold on. Let's find out. Oh, dude, I totally feel like I'm getting sick. This is no good. That's not good. That's not good. Alright, I think I'm getting somewhere with this finally, perhaps. I'm not sure, but I think I am. Alright. Yeah, so that's pretty exciting. I'm so glad that I get to work on a Pokemon commission of all things. I do love to draw and paint Pokemon. I could do it all day. In fact, that's pretty much what I did in school, is I just drew and painted and stuff. Just drew and painted Pokemon. Like, I don't know, I was no good at actually, like, you know, doing my work in school. I don't know who else had a focus problem, but I sure did. I had a very difficult time in school. Because I never focused. I was very bad about that. Not good at focusing in class. I was constantly, my head was in the clouds. That's just what I did. Head in the clouds. All the time. And, you know, these days, it's a bit of a hindrance, I will say. But I'm kind of happy the way that I am. I'm happy that I might be kind of a nut and I might have a difficult time focusing, but like, something about it that's just like, at least I can hyper-focus too, you know? And at least I can hyper-focus on my art. It's nice. It's actually nice. It's totally good. I don't know if I'm doing any of this right, you guys. Like, I haven't got the slightest clue if I am actually doing, like, this lighting thing, okay? You know, you probably think I sound crazy right now. I'm just winging it. The whole thing, I don't know what I'm doing. And, the scaling can't. It seems too fat to me. I don't know. Maybe I need to add some more shadow and kind of like mellow it out. Let's actually give that a try. I got this idea looking at it. I have an idea and I have no idea if it's gonna work, but we are going to try this thing, alright? We're gonna try adding magenta, cobalt blue. Alright, and we're gonna make a nice purple. Okay. And I think what I want to do is I want to get a bigger brush. Let's get a larger filbert brush. And we shall make a nice violet. And we're gonna kind of start like reshaping everything. See, because the problem is these fingers kind of too fat looking. I mean, they're just too thick. It just doesn't look natural. That's the only problem. And to mellow that out, we're just gonna go ahead and add some darker colors and add some shadow and narrow them with the shadow. Okay. Something akin to that. I don't know if that's exactly accurate. That's exactly what I want to do, but we're just gonna keep it up. Something like this. Dragon hands, man. Like, come on, dragon hands. Okay, here we go. How much of this is actually working? Let's make this darker. Yeah. Well, I think that that's actually quite okay. I do think I need to darken this up a bit though. So we need some black, we need cobalt blue, and we need some natural red, and we're going to mix up this really dark color. Then we're going to add some water to it. And then we're going to twist up the brush and hope for the best. Let's try this. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. I'm cool with that. Okay. I think it's looking better. It's looking better, I think. Okay, but I still need... It looks so dark. I don't actually know if that's actually as dark. I think that's too dark. But you know what? I think I can lighten it up with scales, but I might need to do it proper. So we're gonna start off dark, I think, and maybe work our way to the lights. I'm not sure. High contrast is good because then I can kind of work my way in with the other colors, so maybe it's not such a bad thing. Yeah. It doesn't quite match the rest of the painting, but you know, like I said, if I can work my way into the other colors, then I think that's fine. I can make it work. Okay. Totally look like a nut job using the brush like that. But I really needed to push it into the fibers of the canvas. And I also think that I need to take some of this and I need to calm this down right here. Put that to stop right there. Okay, right here, right here. Okay, awesome. I need that finger to tame way the heck down. Well the heck downer. Okay. And then let's start using some really dark darks and just kind of brush that in there. Okay, awesome. Good for now, I think. I do also think I need to darken that up quite a bit. Don't know if this is super necessary right here, but I'll just darken this up. Just mark up my hand over here. In fact, that's a better shape for the thumb there. Go. See how that looks. I think not too bad. It looks really dark, so it really blends in with everything. I think I might need to kind of brighten everything up though. Potentially maybe just use cobalt blue and go over everything. Again. This. We're gonna try to lighten everything up, but let's do it in such a way that it actually looks like the rest of these scales over here. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna make a nice violet, a really pretty violet. For the darkest darks. And then we'll see if this looks okay. I don't know. I don't know. I genuinely don't know what I'm doing. Well, we'll find out. We'll figure this out as we go. No worries at all. All good. It looks extremely reflective. That's the thing. So I don't mind it looking reflective, but this is extremely reflective. Like a little too much. So let's go ahead and try and color match some of this other stuff. I think if I do some of this again. Alright, so the thing about traditional painting is you don't get an undo button. You don't. You don't get an undo button. You pretty much have to sit with the consequences of your actions the entire time. And it's not fun in that way. But it sure is challenging. And I do like the challenge. And it's super rewarding. When you get it just the way that you want it to, yeah, it's pretty rewarding. It's a pretty good feeling. Oh, looks like the camera died again. Oh no. What? Why did it die again? Why would it die again? No battery. Why does it say no battery? The charge port is bad? What's going on? Is that why I disconnected before? I wonder. I'm gonna go ahead and... Looks like it's charging with the charger in a specific position. Maybe if I just have it wrapped around like that, then maybe it'll work. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and reconnect the camera. It's looking like I need to do a reconnect real quick. Let's go ahead and go into that GoPro. Gotta love the technical difficulties all night, man. I had to get in all my accounts. It's just fun. But I was prepared. I came into my workshop an hour ahead to make sure that I could get into everything. Okay. Almost there. We are almost there, almost reconnected. We're just gonna wait for it to connect, then we hit go live, and then we're almost there, almost there. There it goes. Okay, we're reconnected. Very good. Alright, I was a little concerned for a moment there, but we got it all figured out. So, hey, here's an idea. Let's make a watered down light blue. Really watered down. And then let's take my shop towel, wherever that is. I'm actually missing my shop towel. Oh no, never mind. I put it up really high, you guys. Shh, crazy me. Silly me. Alright. And here we go. Ruined the painting. Just kidding. You guys, I'm not ruining the painting. But I am trying to tone out all of this, this crazy... It's too dark. It's too dark. And can't really see anything. And it's a pain in my butt because of that. I'm gonna try to lighten this stuff up. Trying to work on it. I feel like I haven't really done anything this stream. It's kind of crazy, you know? The problem is I made it too dark. But I think I know what I'm doing now. I think I've got this under control. I just need to make everything a bit lighter than it was because it was definitely way too dark before. And, yeah, definitely, for sure. Guys, my camera is disconnected again. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. Why is my camera disconnected again? That's a wrap. Why? Why did you disconnect? Camera, come on. Come on, you know you're my pal, you're my buddy, you're my friend. You can work with me. You can work for me. And connect, please, to my stream. Please connect. I do all of this for you, camera. And you don't work for me. Come on. Come on. Connect. We'll see if it works. Alright, let's try again. What the? Huh? Hey, what? Go live. Come on. Alright, there we go. Is it working? Yeah. Okay, we're back. What? GoPro? Why? Why do you do this to me? Why does GoPro do this to me? Oh, yes, I know what they're doing. They're plotting against me. I'm joking, you guys, but it is frustrating. Like, it's frustrating how many times the GoPro actually, like, disconnects on its own. And then also, like, it'll say things like, you can't stream with this GoPro. And it's like, yeah, I can. I do it all the time. Like, what are you talking about? It's insane. It's just insanity is what it is. Yeah. Drives me crazy. So we're kind of dry brushing this a little bit. Just to kind of get, like, the color stained into the canvas. Okay. And then we can get the lighter colors stained into the canvas as well. If we get a little bit of this orange and the yellow, and get this nice color that's kind of warm. We kind of go like this. Alright. And we can get a nice, like a nice light yellow, green, orange, a warm light sort of thing. Perhaps it looks kind of rainbowy almost. Almost. I think it's disconnected again, you guys. It most certainly has, actually. I think I need to switch the battery out because it says that the battery is dead. It says no battery. I've never seen that notification before, ever on this particular camera. I have not seen no battery. And I imagine that means that the rechargeable battery is probably pretty much in its last days or just done for. I do have another one, but it requires that I take the camera out of the mount, open it up, and replace the battery. So I think because that's an entire whole process, I might just cut the stream about 20 minutes short. I'm sure you guys don't mind. I don't really have anybody here at the moment, so I think it's all right. I think I'm actually gonna turn in pretty early this time. So I appreciate you guys for hanging out and for joining me tonight. Thank you so much, and I hope you have an amazing evening. I shall be turning in, probably getting some good sleep tonight, as I should, because yeah, I'm starting to feel a little bit sick. But tomorrow night is a new night, and hopefully I'm feeling a little better by then, and my husband will be joining us, so that'll be awesome. Okay, it's something to look forward to. I hope you guys have an amazing night. Get some rest and have a great one. See you soon tomorrow. Bye.